Okay, we are live with Gauntlet Hangouts. We're running Dungeon World. The title of this is Vareg. We're going to be kind of exploring the city of Vareg, dealing with the impending siege, but we'll get into that a little bit more in the future. All of our players have played Dungeon World a couple of times at least, and I think this is the first time I've played with any of them, so welcome. I'm excited to have you guys all tonight. Let's just go around and we'll start with character introductions, and then we'll go into cats and tone, and then we'll move on from there. So, Alex, if you want to describe Ged and just kind of what he's about, generally what he looks like, and...
Yeah, okay. Ged is a gnomish artificer, short guy, big bushy eyebrows, small bushy beard, mostly bald, carries a lot of tools around, and he's very, he's a futurist. He's very pro-technology, pro-progress, anti-tradition, that sort of thing.
Cool. Since you've got a couple of kind of unique gadgets, why don't you give us just a quick rundown of what those are and yeah, how you see them working.
Sure, okay. So Ged's main weapon is the pyromatic beam cannon, which I just imagine it as like a big gun essentially shooting a bolt of fire essentially for maximum destructive capability is the idea. If he gets into melee combat, he has the steam explosion glove, which releases extremely a very powerful burst of superheated steam from the glove, from the palm of the glove, to knock away any threats. And then he has the ectoplasmic reversal suit, which allows him to go ghost.
Awesome. So he can like walk
pass through walls and stuff. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Let's move on to Brian's character. Is it Daregrim?
Yeah. Excuse me. All right. So Daregrim is a dwarf. He is a kind of seasoned veteran of combat, so likely has plenty of scars to show for it. His demeanor is one of constantly observing and calculating. He is rather meticulous in his maintenance of his armor and other items. If he has a fault, it's that he may at times put honor before politics, and I guess a notable aspect that we worked in is he has a pack mule that is a bear rather than a mule, which he has ambitions to someday train, but currently is just kind of helping him carry his stuff.
Awesome. And so you're a dwarf, right? Did you pick a name for the clan that you come from?
I haven't yet. I'll think about that while other people are going.
Sure. Sounds good. All right, Sean, why don't you introduce us to Avon?
Avon is a mage of the mask, who wears his hair pulled up in a bunch of little ponytails, and she wears strange layered robes over top. Looks basically like a pile of Afghans wrapped around them. Very ambiguous in terms of gender, and whatever you address Avon by, they'll probably go with for the next little period of time and lean into that. She's focused on being a meddler and a trickster and a provocateur. So as part of the company, probably in terms of black ops and counter ops, of sowing discord where violence isn't necessarily the best answer.
Awesome. So it sounds like the cityscape that they posted you in is perfect for her, because she kind of blends in and sows discord if she wants, or calms the masses trickery anyway. All right, let's move on. Tor, will you introduce us to Marquis?
Yeah, cool. So Marquis is definitely not her actual name, but that's what people started calling her when she joined the, is it called the Phoenix Company, or what's it called?
The Phoenix Cohort, yeah.
The Phoenix Cohort. So when she joined the Phoenix Cohort, that was the name that she was given very quickly, because she has a very sort of aristocratic like bearing, and people just assumed that she was some sort of a noble person. And she never really contradicted them, and so the name just stuck, Marquis. She has like very dark skin, like almost no color at all, just like very, very sort of gray, dark skin. And she has this tremendous chip on her shoulder too. Like, I think everybody notices it. She's always, looking for an insult. She's always quick to respond. She's got a temper. And she's wicked with her sword. So that is Marquis.
Awesome. And I didn't look at your gear. You use a broadsword, so it's not like a fencing kind of dueler.
Yeah, no. Broadsword sounded a little bit like kind of heavy and clumsy. I was imagining something like a really well-balanced like bastard sword or a long sword maybe, but she uses a dagger as well, so she fights with a dagger and a sword. And yeah. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Sounds great. All right, so you guys will all notice, so I gave each of you what's labeled as a Phoenix clasp cloak. So the only uniform that the Phoenix Cohort gives out is basically a gray hooded cloak, and it has a clasp on the front. There's a picture in the shared folder. I'll just pull it up here for fun. And you're not required to wear that really unless you're in camp, or at a formal presentation. But they do offer that as a uniform, just so that there's something there. And I also gave each of you 20 coin. The benefit of being part of a mercenary company is that you get regular pay. So that's for the last week or two. If you guys want to spend it kind of while we do our intros, feel free. Just throw the gear in. I'm not going to really pay attention too much to your guys' character sheets, except to make sure that I know the rules and stuff. I trust you guys to manage your gear. We're not playing to win. We're playing to have fun. So yeah, keep up with that on your own. Let's see. Let's go over the cats real quick. So the concept is you guys are all members of a mercenary company called Phoenix Cohort. They're a very, very large company, 4,000 or 5,000 men. You guys are away from the main part of the army at this point, in a city called Vareg. It's on the coast. It's mostly a trading city, not very militaristic, not a very well-trained army at all. But there's quite a few wealthy people, especially relative to the other city-states nearby, because a lot of them are merchants. They either own ships or cut deals to send goods to and from the city. The world in general is a very dangerous place. Even making it day to day for most people is hard to do. You have subsistence farming in a lot of places, high taxation in a lot of places, mysterious diseases, and since it's a magical world, you can kind of imagine like a medieval Europe or an ancient like Assyrian kind of world, but with magical dangers as well as regular dangers. So our purpose is really to kind of just discover the world of Daru, which is the the overall land, and just see what your guys' characters can survive and what they can accomplish. We are going to be kind of leaning towards a grim tone, not to say that there's not going to be joking or quite a bit of laughter, but just try and stay in your character's head. Like it may turn out that your character is laughing their head off because they're just trying to process what the heck is going on. Subject matter, we talked about this a little bit beforehand, but just to let anybody watching the recording know, we've got veils over both torture and sex. We just don't want to see them on screen. We're also using the X card and a 3-minute break. So if anybody needs those at any time, wave your hands, hold your arm up, put something in the chat, and we'll figure it out and move on. Any questions before I move on to the next bit? Sounds good? Cool. All right, let's see. So I'll put up here the map. So the map of Vareg, you guys have that for reference, and I don't know if you guys have looked at it too closely, but there's actually on the side a list of places of note. If you guys feel like exploring any of those, you could just say, hey, I'd like to go to the Temple Ward and see the Dome of the Holy Mother. And we'll just, we'll work it into the fiction. If it's interesting to see what the characters are doing on the way there, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll just find ourselves at the Dome of the Holy Mother. So keep that in mind as we go. You guys are also welcome to leave the city. There's things outside of the city walls that are going to be fun and interesting to interact with as well. Let's see. So kind of my philosophy as a game master is I like to pursue like the TV or movie kind of a writer's room feel. I'm looking for the most interesting thing. Because we're going for a grim tone, that means I'm going to be throwing a lot of crap at you. If you guys are morally good, there's crap that can be thrown that challenges that. If you guys are downright scoundrels, there's stuff that could be challenging there. If you try and stay out of trouble, there's always a challenge. So I'm going to be throwing things at your characters. I just want to see what you guys do and how you guys discover what's going on around you. So that being said, especially to like hit keys and have conversations with the other players, do some role playing. If you guys are feeling like you're not getting enough time to do that, just raise your hand and be like, hey, I'd like to set up a scene where Get and I try and hit his key of the futurist. And we'll have you frame up the scene and you can run it there. Like I said, it's a real writer's room. There may be some times where I say, okay, let's step out of our characters. We'll look down at the game and we'll discuss, over the table to figure out. So Frosthammer, I love the name. Figure out what you guys think is the most interesting thing, and then we'll step back into the fiction and watch it play out. With that being said, is there any kind of questions or discomfort or anything with that kind of a play styles that new to anybody?
It's been a little while since I've been there in a dungeony, dragony sort of game, so it'll take a little while to get back in that mindset.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to invent fiction, and like if usually it adds to the fun. So yeah, just fill out the world and feel free to step back and look add a writer's room perspective as well.
I'll just say it's been a while since I've been a player, and this is also my first time playing online. So if I have some dumb questions, I'll let you guys know.
I love dumb questions because they create smart answers. So, oh, go ahead, Alex.
Oh, I was just gonna second that in terms of not having played online before. Dumb questions, that sort of thing.
Yeah, let's do a tiny bit of kind of online etiquette then. You guys have all been doing it so far, but if you're not in the scene, if you're not actively talking, just try and keep your mics muted just to keep down the background noise. The only other thing is like it's really hard rather to talk over one another. Like if you're at a table, you can kind of have sidebar conversations, whereas here it's more like I guess like a elementary school classroom. You kind of have to raise your hand and wait your turn. But always just expect that the other players are trying to say the thing in the nicest way possible. Like give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I don't think we'll have any problems. So. All right. Let's see. So I've got some establishing questions for us just to kind of step into our characters and put some perspective on where our characters are in the world. At the bottom of the character sheet, there's a people and places tab. Why don't you guys hop over there real quick, and I'll kind of give some notable NPCs and notable locations that other games I've run have kind of created. So the first 3 groups are just kind of leadership of the Phoenix cohort. Caritas is basically the general in charge of everything. Urbius Octavo, he is just the one in charge of the money and making sure things flow in correctly and that people are well stocked. So you get your check signed by him, basically. Ishtar is the head wizard, and all the things that entails that. My other players have seen him bind demons, create liquor out of demon blood. They've seen him teleport. He's basically he's like Dumbledore, but as a goat man. One character that you guys will probably encounter here is Bosick. He is a merchant, kind of a low-level merchant, still pretty well off though relative to most of the populace. He's kind of a bumbling, stumbling man, gets nervous easy, a little bit chubby because he eats. He wants to show off his status. He was running a trade route that got overrun by a group called the Pale Moon Horde, which are basically invaders from the other side of the sea, mostly orcs. Think of them kind of like a Mongol horde. And he fled to Vareg, which is the city you guys are in. A couple of characters that might be of note is there's a ruling council here in Vareg. It's not like a monarchy, more of an oligarchy. The ruling council is mostly made up of high-level merchants, leaders of guilds and such, and they're voted in every 2 months. So every other full moon, they have one drops off, and they vote another one in. The High Lord of the ruling council is called Tanume, and he's kind of just like a pampered. He's as close to a monarch as they have. He got the position because of his bloodline. Doesn't really know what he's doing. Kind of just hoping that everything works out okay. And then the other thing I have on here is Tun Minitus, which is just the next closest city-state. They're not enemies with Tun Vareg, but they're not necessarily friends because Tun Vareg has a lot more wealth than them, and they're A little jealous. So let's go to some establishing questions for you all. So I'm going to ask this one. I want everybody to kind of think of an answer, and then we'll go around, and each of you can kind of add to the fiction of what you see that helps inform this question. So like we've said, Tún Vareg is a pretty wealthy city of merchants and traders, but it's starkly juxtaposed against the poor masses who make up probably 80% of the populace of the city. So what kinds of fashion do you see that really distinguishes the rich from the poor? What kinds of things have you seen around the city? You guys have each been here for at least a month or more that really shows this stark difference between the classes. Once you've got something, just raise your hand and go ahead.
Okay, so when there was a time when Marquis was walking the street with some of her comrades from the Phoenix cohort, and they heard some shouting, and they looked up, and there was a handful of men with clubs were literally coming down the street and beating people out of the way. And then behind them, there came these four men carrying this, what do you call it, like a palanquin? One of those things you carry on your shoulders. And there was some sort of a nobleman seated in this. But like, yeah, they had people going ahead of them, actually like physically assaulting people, shoving them out of the way. So they didn't interfere with the path of this noble person.
Awesome. That's great. Great painting scene. Let's hold for a second and see if he hops right back in. Did we lose Sean? Yeah. Ah, there he is. Hey, we lost you for a sec.
We did. I'm back. That does not bode well.
Uh-oh. If you need to like turn your settings down or just play without the video, that's fine. Just
Yeah, I've cranked my bandwidth all the way down. We'll see what we can do.
okay. Who had an idea for kind of setting the scene? Go ahead, Alex.
I think, sort of building off of that, I think it's a more, it's a fairly pervasive difference with this idea of the rich not taking measures to not even be in physical contact with most of the outside world, really. I don't know how clean like the richer parts of the city are, but I imagine it's hard to keep them immaculate. But I'm imagining these people never going out without fancy gloves, maybe even like face masks that look sort of like veils or something like that.
Oh, I like that detail. So they've always got, even if it's not going to do any good, they've just got like a thin veil and gloves. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much all symbolic, right? It's all status symbol. But
yeah.
This idea of not having to interact with the world around you, that is beneath them.
Cool. Sean or Brian, did you have one?
Yeah. Did I miss one before again? Sorry, Brian, you should just go.
All right. I was going to say, observing the stark difference of the rich in the city spending lavishly on luxury items like art and fine clothes, while the poor are at times literally starving, or in bread lines in the harshest of times. That was so. I think just the stark inequality between them, and there's sort of a lack of humanity, and even when they are the rich do maybe pass out bread, there's not really doing it in a kind of humanistic way. They just maybe throw it out for them.
Yeah, they're more than happy to let it land in the gutter before it gets eaten. Well, Sean, did you want me to repeat the question? Did you miss it when it was?
If you would, yeah, I was turning to a robot already.
No, that's fine. So we're trying to just get a feel for the city. We know that there's a stark difference between the rich and the poor, and so we're looking for things that you've seen around the city. Whether it be, I think our first one was like a rich guy being carried around on one of those palanquins, and people literally being beat if they don't get out of the way quick enough. So. What have you observed in the city, I guess?
I've observed the weird way that the public class treats us with fear and respect, the same way that they treat the upper class people, and the way that the upper class people treat us with the same sort of disdain that they do for anyone who's not of their blood and stature. So we can walk among both of them, but neither of them welcomes our presence.
Ah, I like it. Yeah, so you guys are a class between. They don't really know what to make of a warrior class that has some money, but not wealth. Cool. All right. So I had a couple of questions specifically for a few of you. Ged, you have heard rumors about an arcane device here in the city, maybe an ancient piece of technology. What is this supposed to be able to do? Do you want a minute to think?
Yeah, I think I need a minute to think about that.
Cool. Yeah, we'll come back to you. Let's see. Daregrim. Are there any members of your clan here in the city?
I'm gonna say yes. There's not many of my clan left, but a scattered few have made their way to the city. There's a kind of a strong bond between us based on the things we've gone through together, and so there's some comfort in staying in the same city together.
Cool. Are they also a member of the cohort?
Let's say one of them is. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, sorry, to clarify the question, I guess, is the Phoenix cohort like, this is a very large cohort, or is it us?
Yeah, no, there's thousands of members.
Okay.
Yeah, the main army is 3 weeks march north of you guys. All right, and this one's for anybody, unless you're ready, Alex.
Let me throw this. The arcane device is able to capture sounds and play them back with perfect fidelity. I mean, it's essentially what we in the modern world would think of as a voice or tape recorder. But in this world, that is, I think, a lot stranger.
You might be muted.
Yeah, sorry, I can't.
Sorry, I was muted. So out of character, is this a real thing or is it just a rumor?
I think it exists out of character.
Cool. I love it. All right. So who's the most comfortable in the city between the four of you?
I think I'm comfortable working in the large crowds and learning my way around the new cities that the cohort has been deployed through. I'm not sure if that makes me the most comfortable, but it's home, such as it is.
Cool.
I'd say I'm relatively uncomfortable with the large open skies and not as many dwarves. Just doesn't feel like home.
So your clan lives underground. You guys like mine in the mountains? Is that where you're from, or?
Yeah, I think we're a mining clan that we lost our home though.
Cool. All right. Let me see. I think I had one more. Tor, who or what is the greatest enemy that you've overcome?
In my previous life, prior to coming and joining the Phoenix cohort, I fought a duel, and the details of that duel, I never talk about it, but it was against a great swordsman, and I beat him and I killed him, and that was basically the last thing that I did before I came and joined the Phoenix cohort.
Was it after that happened that you felt like you were worthy to join this, or had you just kind of accomplished what you wanted to and now we're looking for adventure?
No. It was that event meant that I had to leave my old life behind and like forever and essentially find a new place.
Cool. I love it. All right. I think what we'll do is we're going to kind of pick some attributes of our layer, get a quick description of what it's like. And then once we've got that, we will take a short break and come back and actually start the game. So on the main party page, just after Marquee, I have the layer. So the building that you guys are inhabiting, the reason that the cohort has it at all is because they use it for recruiting. So it's a pretty minimal staff. You guys are the only ones who aren't like actively part of the recruiting side. Actually, I take that back. There's a couple of characters that fled there from the Pale Moon Horde and couldn't fight anymore for their injuries and are recovering. But you guys aren't specifically active with the recruitment, but that's what the main function of the building is. So go ahead and take a look through the map, or if you guys just want to talk about like what kind of neighborhood would it be in, what are you around, are you guys close to the markets or the docks, are you in a rich part, just kind of decide together where and what it's like in general, the building.
Our map is sideways.
So did it come out sideways?
No, just the north is leftward on it.
Oh, the north is pointing that way. Yeah, I didn't notice that. I'm glad you noticed that.
I think it would make sense for us to be somewhere in Old Vareg. Not necessarily one of the nice neighborhoods, but one of the teardown neighborhoods where the properties are a little more available and less crowded.
I agree. The Phoenix cohort seems, it's a pretty big outfit. I think we would have to be an Old Vareg. Vareg? What was it?
Vareg. I mean
Vareg. To, I guess, have some more sense of legitimacy in the city.
Should we have a nice landscape view of the flooded quarry?
Sounds good to me.
cool.
I like quarries.
Yeah, I like that idea. Like where maybe like the building is actually kind of built like right up to the edge of the quarry. Like literally like the back wall of it like drops down into the quarry, hundreds of feet down into the water at the bottom. Which is a great place to dispose of bodies too, Just
Yeah.
you can literally throw them out the window.
I think maybe there's one ill-conceived back door that looks just like an exit, but it's just a sheer drop.
Yeah. Like 50 feet down there's the pile of stilts that used to be the stairs.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of signs on the inside of the building around the door. Like, nope, not this one.
Yeah, so that part of the land had fallen when the quarry flooded. Cool. So then the next thing, we've kind of got the look. It sounds like it's a little bit run down. It's right on the edge of a cliff. Any other kind of distinguishing things about it?
Yeah, I got something.
There we go.
So I'm looking at that picture you have there of the recruitment center or headquarters, and it's got sort of this kind of dry, deserty look to it.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, I'm imagining. I'm sort of. I don't know. I'm sort of imagining this is kind of like a fairly warm climate here, and so a lot of indoor parts of this building are designed to stay cool during the heat and to be quite dark, just to keep things cool. So there's a lot of like indoor dark, cool spaces with maybe pools of water as well.
That would make sense. Little air channels out over the quarry to get some moist, cool air coming across it.
Yeah, natural swamp cooler. Great. So then we're gonna have like 4. We're just calling them assets, but I mean, but 4 things that we can use to fictionally describe like you using at the headquarters. So like if you want an arcane ritual room, like we can have that there, so that maybe you could use that as a place of power. Or if you think it'd be interesting to have a library, so you have access to a lot more information. If you have a contact that comes regularly and checks in about whatever it is, just so give that a couple of seconds of thought. When you have ideas, shout them out, and we'll just add them to the description here.
How many assets do we get?
I'll have each of you pick one. I mean, you guys collaborate on it too, but we're gonna have 4.
Gotta have a workshop.
I was going to say that just for you.
Yeah, I think that's where he lives. I think he's got like a workshop on probably like near the around the like how many, I don't know how many floors this is, but whatever the highest one is, with a chimney that see sometimes bellowing out black smoke from his probably has some sort of forge, and I think he's got like a little bed there, and it's like a little studio apartment, but also a medieval workshop. That's where he's comfortable.
Cool.
I'm just gonna welcome your guys' input, but I was thinking a sort of a secret entrance and/or escape. That's some ideas for that. If we want to use up an asset on that. So I'm thinking it's a tunnel that goes underground between the cohort office and the castle. And historically, a past ruler used to use this to sneak in women and other things that he didn't want passing through the front doors. It's sort of been forgotten, but the cohort knows about it.
Cool. You guys all okay with that?
I like it.
Any other places, or just one way to the keep?
I'm thinking it could be, it's probably got one other place, so they would, or maybe there's several exits between there and the keep, like a couple places you could pop in and out.
I think we need a safe with a convoluted entrance, like a fireplace that swings out of the way.
Awesome. So is it like a kind of a small space so you could just keep stuff there, or is it more like a panic room, like people could go in it too?
It's big enough to fit people. I'm thinking like the casino safes, like in Ocean's 11. Where you walk in and there's like rack shelving and there's room for carts inside. There's probably just like a bin or a hopper with gold coins for people's pay.
Yeah, because this place has to operate pretty independently most of the time. It's not like the cohort's here all the time.
And if you're paying us 20 coins and people.
Yeah. Well, and the sign-on bonuses for those new recruits.
Range of us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely a fireplace that slides on them.
You were choppy there. The last thing I caught was behind the fireplace.
Oh, you like slide something on the mantle and then set some numbers on some tumblers and slide the statue back across. It's a phoenix, of course.
So going along with that, do any of you guys have direct access to this place, or is it the lead recruiter only?
I would probably not have access. I don't really see myself in that kind of a role right now.
I would say they're extremely observant and maybe doesn't have allowed access, but has a guess at how to get in, just from what he's observed.
Sweet.
Let me know what you think. I feel like Ed could have like built the mechanism that makes it all work.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
yeah,
even if he doesn't
remodeled the
have
building.
access. What?
Well,
You retrofitted the building to make that to kind of install that, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, even if we don't involve him in building this, he's just going to walk through the walls if he wants to.
Yeah. I think that the ghost suit is probably a more recent invention. Don't know if everybody's had time to get used to that.
I'm just going to throw an ad on in this safe room, probably beyond just gold. I would think we have some stockpile of weapons and supplies and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think I have something. So I think this is actually a discovery that we've just recently made. Maybe Daregrim actually would have found it because he's sort of an underground, the dwarf type, but he uncovered a previously concealed entrance to sort of an underground basement area, and it is a narrow set of stairs, and they go down and they open up into this kind of underground chamber that's supported by all these pillars. In the center of the chamber, there's a shallow pool of water, and this room is clearly has some deep ancient religious significance. It was some sort of an ancient chapel, and there's some sort of a magical power that still sort of dwells in this area here, but we don't really understand it or really have a sense of what it's about.
So was the building just built on top of this ancient temple?
I think that it was part of the building. I don't think it was like the building was built on top of it, but I think that it was sort of maybe sealed up some time ago, and then it was it took the sharp eyes of a dwarf to say, well, hey, that wall there is new, and let's knock that down and see what's behind it. And it's like, oh crap, like what's this?
So I was going to add on to the tunnel between the cohort and the castle. If you guys are okay with this, kind of going with the theme of secret things being passed through the tunnel by a past ruler. I'd say one of the midway entrances is in the wine cellar of a tavern, and the other is in like a old brothel building. And both of those have access to the secret access to this tunnel.
And building off of that, not even necessarily for the lair itself, but I wonder if Old Vareg doesn't have like a lot of undiscovered underground tunnels and just stuff from when the city was another city a very long time ago. Whole tunnel systems, underground rooms, that sort of thing that haven't been rediscovered.
Yeah, there could be some branches off of this tunnel that have maybe collapsed, and we don't totally know. Yeah, everything is out there.
Cool. We have a vague idea that there's other stuff buried under this city, but no idea where or how to get to it.
We were drawing comparisons to Rome, and this sounds perfect. That's built like several stories deep.
Yeah, a city built on top of a city, and then that city burned down, so there's another city on top of it, right? Cool. All right, well, I'm loving where we've got to so far. I'm really excited about your characters and the flavor that you guys have given, especially to Old Vareg. So let's take 5 minutes, get some water, get a little snack, go to the bathroom, and we'll come back and play more. All right. I guess we're still waiting for Sean. So usually in Dungeon World, you get experience. Oh, hey. You get experience for failed rolls, alignment, and bonds, and some end of session questions. Since we're taking out alignment and bonds, we're going to get experience from every time you turn a key. So we'll just ask at the end of session, we'll look through your keys and we'll say, okay, so Avon, did you turn the key of the meddler? And we'll just kind of like replay and say, oh yeah, when I did this, this, this. And if you decide that another player's character was instrumental in you turning that key, whether they started it, whether they, you couldn't have done it without them for some reason, they can also get an experience. The problem with keys is that you can level up really fast. And so I'm going to limit it so you can turn as many keys as you feel like, and you can give out as many keys as you feel like, but you can only get experience for 2 of your own keys and helping 2 people. So basically it's 4 experience for interacting with the keys per session. Does that make sense? With that all being said, a reminder, if you guys want to hit a key and you're feeling kind of choked on time, like I'm moving you from thing to thing to thing to thing, just wave your hand and say, hey, while we're walking from here to the market, can we do this scene? Or, hey, we just killed a bunch of people. Can we do this scene to turn a particular key? And we'll take the time to do that, all right? One last thing I forgot to mention, and it's not even really a big deal. Since I'm recording these, if we could just keep the swearing to a minimum, just so anybody who feels like watching them doesn't have to feel like they need to be censored. If things slip, not a big deal. I'm not mad at you at all, but just I think it's kind of a courtesy for people who want to watch. Sound good?
Yep. PG-14.
Yeah. Yep.
I figured that'd be the policy, and I've already almost accidentally swore like 5 times.
Well, all that being said, I think I was the one to swear before we started the recording. So, cool. So I'm going to put you guys in media res in the middle of something going on, and we will see what happens next. So you guys spend probably a lot of your time to this point just maintaining gear, trying to keep trained and active. Maybe you help a little bit here and there with the recruitment, showing off your abilities so that people are like, oh, well, if that guy can shoot a laser beam, I want to be on his team, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's been pretty slow. But recently, the town crier's been out and announcing basically that there's an oncoming army. They're guessing maybe 3 weeks march. And the army has been identified as the Great Pale Moon Horde from the other side of the sea. This has caused quite a stir, as you might imagine, for a merchant's city with a not so well-trained army. Now, you guys are going to be welcome to take this lots of different directions. If you guys decide you want to help train the troops, if you guys want to go do covert op missions, if you want to clean out some sewers so that they, people have a place to hide, you guys can take this wherever you want. But I will say this. So this is the scene. You guys are all kind of sitting around the mess hall at the recruitment office, and a mirror on the wall kind of starts stirring. You guys have seen this happen a few times. It's reserved for very specific and important things. And you see the face of a goat man with a cyan beard come on. You guys will recognize him, of course, as Ishtar, the head magician. He's marching with the army currently. And here we go.
Hello? Hello? Who's there?
Ishtar, you've reached us at breakfast.
Oh, no goat meat, I expect.
Eggs.
Eggs. Excellent. Anyway, we have some news. We have made an alliance most recently, but you must not reveal it unless it is right. We are marching with the Pale Horde to your city.
You're marching with...
Indeed. Lacertus, well, he thought it was a good quick cash. March to a city, scare them, get some money, march on our way. We need to know, have they heard about the Pale Moon Horde coming their way?
You could say that.
It's being shouted off the street corner.
They're not super happy.
Blast it. I thought my scrying could stop them from seeing it this early. Oh well. Anyway, we want you to make things easier for us. Report back 2 days. Let me know at the full moon what you guys have been able to accomplish. Anything you can do to make the march easier, the assault easier, or to avoid the assault entirely. We'd appreciate it.
And then the mirror kind of, swirls in reverse, and he's gone. So what are you guys thinking?
What do we know about the Pale Horde?
You guys have
What's
a
their
couple.
deal?
Yeah, you have a couple of members who have encountered them before they were your allies and did some significant harm to them and received some harm. What you know is that they are primarily comprised of orcs, and these are like 8 foot tall, like brutal kind of orcs. They do have some specialist companies. They've got some larger units, like maybe trolls, something along those lines. They seem well organized and disciplined enough.
And do we know who leads them?
Yeah, I'll throw that in the people and places. His name is Chaka Khan. He's an orc as well, bit larger as orc warlords go, a bit larger than most of the other orcs that serve under him. But he kind of prides himself in being able to conquer without conflict, is what he calls it. Basically, he goes to a city, he says, either you sign the contract and join with us, pay a little fee, or we're going to have problems.
So he lets his bark do most of the biting for him. People would rather just
Yeah,
in a bloody fight.
yeah. At least that's his plan, and that's the thing he brags about most.
So Avon just kind of slurps at their coffee, puts it down like, this doesn't go well for Vareg. Either way, does it?
I don't like it at all. This sort of skullduggery, this isn't what the Phoenix cohort is about. Give me a fight in the open battlefield, not this lurking about, this behind-the-scenes planning.
I see no reason to shed blood if it can be avoided. but I don't love this situation either way.
I agree. I have little trust that the orcs would actually pay us anyway.
I think Ishtar knows his way around this. There must be something significant motivating him, either chests of gold or a knife at his back, but I think he's serious.
Well, regardless, the Pale Horde is coming, and what are we doing about it?
Say, well, I suppose we have a tough decision to make. But for now, I suggest we at least play along with Ishtar.
I think if we can avoid, if we can ease their path, I think that's best for all concerned.
Say, well, perhaps we feed him information that's not as valuable as he may think.
What does Marquis think about the situation?
Yeah, Marquise just shakes her head in disgust, and she's got her food is in front of her, it's untouched, and then she just stands up, and this doesn't feel right to me. They're asking us to act as spies here in this town. This isn't what we signed on for. And then she just turns and she walks out of the mess hall, leaving her food behind, leaving somebody else to pick up her food after her.
I slide the plate across. I think Marquise just put off that this fight would be facing the wrong way on the battlefield from behind the lines. I don't know if she can handle not looking someone in the eyes.
Marquis pauses in the door, and she turns. Beg your pardon, Avon?
Well, I mean, you do just fine when everything is laid out in nice little rows on opposite ends of a map with little chess pieces you can tip over. But as soon as you turn off the lights or it gets complicated, I don't know. I just think that you're afraid of being shown the fool.
So Marquis is gonna pause for a moment, and she's gonna look Avon up and down, and she kind of wants to get a sense that is Avon messing with her, or is something else going on here? Is it possible to push a discern realities roll here, or how would that work?
Yeah, would resourceful be better? Oh no, this is during the conflict. So if you want to use resourceful, you could do that, or discern realities.
Okay, resourceful is my class move.
Actually, so I'm reading through the options from resourceful, and it's all combat. So
okay. Alrighty. So I don't have any dice.
I
can grab some dice. Should I go grab some?
I can make a roll for your party as well.
Or I can do an online roller too. Here.
We'll trust you. In the meantime.
Okay, let me just pull up a die roller online here.
I just threw one in the chat there. So anybody who wants to use that, they can use that. I'm okay with physical dice as well. In fact, when I play, I prefer them. I believe every dice has its own destiny.
Cool. Okay. I rolled a 3 and a 6. I got a 9 on discern realities, and my wisdom is, I think it's nothing.
It's 1.
1. Okay. Cool. Oh, 10. All right. So on a 10 plus, so well, I'm studying a person. Can you discern realities on another PC?
Yeah. I may turn to her and see, like, to have her help answer the question. But go ahead and pick a couple questions, and we'll do our best to figure them out.
Well, what here is not what it appears to be.
Yeah, Avon, I think I'll turn that one straight to you. He's trying to figure out if you've got any guile here, or if this is really how you feel. Are you just poking at him or poking at her for fun? What is this?
Yes. Friendly rivalry, and also I do want to see what happens if I do get Marquis worked up a bit.
Okay.
I want a reaction.
Yeah, I gotcha. And then my other question here is, like, what should I be on the lookout for in regards to Avon? Like, is she gonna? I mean, is there trouble brewing? Is this sort of just her just kind of being a trickster, or is there something kind of specific?
My loyalty is to the company and to the paycheck, without too much concern for overthinking it or higher morals. So, as much as I'm a trickster, I might do what's blatantly obvious.
Okay.
If that answers your question.
Yeah. All right, so I think so Marquis turns and at Avon's words, and she doesn't say anything, but there's just like this flash of a hand, and all of a sudden there's this a dagger has just split her plate in half, and there's just two halves of this plate cracked, and there's just a quivering dagger there, and she says, "That's what I think about your words," and then she stalks out of the room.
I want to see what the other two are doing as that conflict kind of escalates. What do you guys think about knife being thrown in the hideout?
Don't love it. Don't love it. I think Ged picks up the pieces of plate and just kind of stows them away for use later. Yeah, it's not not a fan.
Dergrim is watching intently, ready to make a move if things actually come to blows, but he's living protected.
Cool. Cool. I really like that scene. I think we kind of that's a good close for a scene. I want to ask kind of above the table. What is the plan? Are you guys looking to kind of start a house war with the guilds? I heard some thoughts about disruption. I heard some thoughts about easing the path. What kinds of actions are you guys looking to pursue here?
I would say Dergrim's skeptical of allying himself with orcs. And skeptical that they would actually hold through on their end of the bargain when it seems like they'd be in a position of power over us.
Ged is on the other side of the fence on that, I think. He's mainly concerned about the idea that if they don't help out like they're supposed to, that the Pale Horde will end up, that there will end up being violence. And he's thinking, if they're coming anyway, might as well avoid violence and also get paid. And it's Ishtar paying us, not the orcs, I think, so. Trust Ishtar, at least, to hold up his end of the bargain.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how that works.
So it sounded kind of like Marquis and Daregrim were both leaning towards investigating some alternatives to following the orders exactly. I'm trying to put that without making it treasonous.
I think what Marquis would do is she would try and grab the heaviest drinker in the group after herself. I'm kind of thinking maybe that's Daregrim. I could be wrong. That could be a stereotype. And then she would want to go to a tavern, like where the city guard or the city army would hang out. So basically like a cop bar, right? So she wants to go to that, and she wants to go in and start drinking. It just start engaging with them and kind of catching the mood, maybe trying to learn some information, but in kind of an aggressive, confrontational way, because that's kind of her style. So, seeing what the army or the defenses here in the city is all about.
Cool. What do you think about that, Daregrim?
I think Daregrim is definitely no stranger to the bars and taverns of the city.
Yeah, I think she'd be like, Daregrim, I need a drink. You? And that'd probably be out the extent of the conversation, and then she would lead them, through to some place that is highly frequented by guards or soldiers.
Cool. How about Avon? What is Avon thinking, wanting to do next?
I think Ged's got the right of it right now, that finding a way to follow Ishtar's words here and do it in a way that will minimize bloodshed, whether that means that the gates are voluntarily opened in 3 weeks, or the gates are accidentally open, or some variation between the two. I think they're going to start brainstorming plans and try and rope Ged into this.
Can I want kind of a further dig into my knowledge of war and whatnot. Is there an example I know of in history where it did come to blows? The Pale Horde did actually attack a city, and what was that like?
Yeah, let's. I think you've got a move for that, right?
I think I get a +1 on related to.
Oh, so it's your spout lore. You just get a +1.
Or no, sorry, it's a spout lore. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that.
Had a dice roll open. Okay, I rolled a 2 and a 6. I have a into +1 and then another +1. So it's a 10.
Cool. So you'll get something interesting and useful immediately. I'll tell you what that is, and then I want you to let me know where you've heard of this, how you heard of it, because the Pale Moon Horde is from the other side of the sea. This is like the Romans invading Britannia, First time we've ever seen them here. So, all right. One of the instances you've heard of the Pale Moon Horde actually coming to blows with the city was a similar circumstance to this. It was an independent city. It didn't have a large populace or a large kind of like region that it controlled. It was mostly just the city itself. And what the Pale Moon Horde did was they kind of played alliances, and it's unclear who their target was when they came to the region. There were 3 other principalities all involved, and eventually what happened is the Pale Moon Horde made enough friends and enough alliances that they just overwhelmed the city. The defenses fell fairly quickly because the Pale Moons are our professional force, but really what did them in was that their neighbors joined with the horde as well. So where have you heard of that? Because it's a whole nother world out there.
I'll say that I met a dwarf who was a survivor who had fled from that region, and I was rather fascinated to hear about it, and really kind of quizzed him on what kind of tactics and formations the horde used. As I'm always fascinated to see if there's new strategies or tactics that are being developed in other parts of the world.
Cool. So you can make a note on your sheet if you want, or just keep it in your head. But next time that you're trying to figure out or counter tactics that they deploy, you can have one hold to get a +1 forward on any roll involving that. Okay. All right. So it sounds like we've got Deargrim and Marquis going to the cop bar, and Avon and Ged, you guys are looking for a bloodless way to end the conflict. Are you thinking of investigating the gates to open those? Or are you thinking of talking to people in the government to see if you can find somebody else to join you? Or what's the idea?
I think getting an idea of what the the ruling council's plans are would be good, and if they're bad plans, trying to change their minds.
That was along the way I was thinking as well, in finding out who has the ears of Tanume and the rest of the council, and trying to find out what the plans are from them, and possibly seeding ideas with them.
Okay. So you guys aren't going straight to the seat of power. You guys are fishing some contacts who may be in the know.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's go to this scene at the cop bar, and then we'll cut back and forth between the two scenes, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. So the name of the tavern you guys are going to is the Mossy Tankard. I want to know, is this the one that you guys have the secret entrance to?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would make sense if it was a somewhat affiliated with the castle. Popular place for the guard.
Yeah. So this is in Old Vareg as well, then, right?
Sure. Yeah, between the Cohort office and the castle, somewhere along that line.
Cool. All right. I think
I have an idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want to launch right into things. So I'm imagining, like, we cut to the bar, and like literally the first thing we see is Marquis. She's like locked. She's like halfway into an arm wrestling match with like this big ugly dude, and she's got like a tankard in one hand, and there's just like ale like spilling down everywhere, and there's just a ton of like soldiers around, and people are like yelling and like chanting, and Marquis is like chugging the ale like while she's like arm wrestling this guy, and they're like locked halfway up, and he's like straining, right? He's like twice her size, but she's just got him locked up there, right? And she's just like pounding this ale down. Yeah.
Cool. Now, have you previously arranged a bet with him, or are you just kind of like playing?
Oh yeah. There's definitely money on the table, right? And people, there's all kinds of side bets going on too. I
Cool.
think she's got 5 coin or whatever it is on it.
You know what? I actually have a gambling move. Is 5 coin what you want to put out there for it?
Yes.
I'm gonna say Dargrim's kind of working the crowd as well. Like, come on, she's just a wee lass. You gonna throw some coin against her? Are
you gonna put money on it too?
I'm basically just trying to get more money on the table, and I will bet for her on her side though. So I'm taking the counter bets. I'll put up 5 coin as well.
5 coin as well. All right. Why don't? So each of you put a roll on the table. I want Dargrim, your roll is going to be plus your charisma, and Marquis, yours is plus strength, just because of how you're interacting with the gambling situation here. And then depending on those rolls, I'll give you the fiction of who won and how much you guys won or lost.
Okay. So to do this and roll for your party, I should put a 2 in front of D6, and then I put under modifier whatever my strength modifier is. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So strength modifier is 1.
Cool. Oh, that didn't add your modifier. Oh, well, so it's a 9. What did Dargrim get? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. But am I supposed to roll in the chat? I had just rolled on this site, but
that's fine. Tell me what you got.
So I rolled a 7, no modifier.
Okay, cool. So each of you guys get to pick 2 from a list, and I'll just kind of read you off the list. So you could get the money you bet back. You can get the amount of money you bet back again. So basically, you could double what you bet. But the other things on the table is you don't attract unwanted attention, or you make a friend. So pick between those 4. You get to pick 2 of them.
Do we get to pick 2 between the 2 of us, or how does that work?
Each of you are picking, since you guys both were involved with the betting.
So is getting your money back and getting your money back again 2 things?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I'm digging.
Okay.
Bring on the unwanted attention. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you're trying to make a stir. How about you, Dargrim?
I'm gonna take back my gold and make a friend and welcome some attention.
Cool. Go ahead and adjust that on your character sheet, and then we'll play this out. So I'll say you guys went at it a couple of times, and Marquis, you won more often than you lost. The guy that you were up against, he's not pretty happy, or he's not very happy about it. After losing to a wee little girl like you, he stomps off, kind of upset. What's one distinguishing feature of him? So if we ever see him again, I'm not saying that we will, but if we do, we'll recognize him right away.
He's had both of his ears cut off.
Oh, that's terrible.
Also, as he's walking off, he's kind of butthurt walking away. She's just calling insults after him, like, I thought you were gonna try. Like, like next time we arm wrestle, like why don't you give it a little effort next time? So, and, like everybody's like hearing, like all his like friends, right? And he's like, yeah, he's a soldier or whatever. So they're all his comrades in arms, and she's just, I mean, obviously it's a pretty dumb thing to do on her part, but not slowing her down.
Cool. All right, and how about the friend that Dargrim made? What is it that kind of hit it off between you guys? Was it the betting itself, or was it the way that you were kind of taking bets? Maybe you gave him a little extra. What was it?
Yeah, he was one of the few in the tavern that wasn't a soldier, and I gave him I kind of tipped him off and was like, the last is a sure thing, and made him a little money. I think you're muted.
Oh, my mistake. So basically, he took your advice and he's grateful about it then. So let's do a scene with you guys sitting. Let's name him Tulkas. You guys are all sitting at the table here. He's not part of the town guard, but he's obviously friends with and affiliated with them. Let's have that scene.
So I popped some ale on the table and cheers to kind of congratulatory cheers to Marquis, and say it's quite the display.
That was nothing. Give me that ale. I'll show you a display. She like takes it, and just like does a thing where she like opens her throat up and it just like chugs it immediately. She's like, boom, like slams it down the table. She's like, that's a display.
Oh, I'll say, where are you from? I haven't seen somebody with your frame drink like that ever.
You ask a lot of questions, Tulkas.
Nothing meant by it. No problems here.
No problems at all.
Say, what about you? What brings you to a bar like this?
Oh, my brother and a couple cousins are part of the town watch. They joined up because, well, it's free money. They just wander around, poke at some poor people every once in a while, make sure the family doesn't end up on the street. But now with this horde on its way, I don't know how much longer they're going to be part of the guard.
So is there talk of new professions and safer places?
Yeah, before the conscription starts, we've been wondering what kind of a ship we could get on and just sail out of here.
Says maybe a wise move. I can't imagine anything good will come of them.
Well, I mean, good for you guys. You're warriors. That's what you're about. I'm sure you guys are gonna make quite a pretty penny from the council for probably per head.
Has there been talk among any of the other guards, or is it just your family that's thinking of leaving?
Oh, I can't speak for everybody, but I don't think morale is through the roof. They're not well trained. I can fire a bow as well as my brother, and I've only ever gone hunting once.
Kind of sideways look to Marquis and well, there aren't many ships out of this place. Do you expect many will make a move, try to leave the city, or will they just stay in place and surrender?
Well, what I've heard is the black market prices are going up by the day to get off this rock. Anybody who used to be carrying cargo is just packing people shoulder to shoulder, standing room only, and they're making a pretty penny. I don't have a pretty penny. That's my problem. But I guess I'm a little better off today.
Marquis looks at Tulkas and she says, "You know, me and my comrades, we've been known to bend a bow in our day. If you're looking for a bit of help, I'd be happy to show up there on the archery range, show you how to feather the target. So she's trying to kind of make this offer. I'll come out and give you a little hand, which would basically put her in a good position to kind of observe the guards, the soldiery in practice. Maybe get to know a few more of them.
Oh, okay. Let's actually make that a parley roll with Tulkas here.
Okay.
And if he needs aid, and you have a way you can justify it, feel free.
Yeah. So leverage is something they need or want. So I imagine, like I'm basically offering like training, like training in how to use a bow.
Yeah.
Which could be valuable if they're going to be trying to shoot 8-foot-tall orcs.
Yeah, I think what his mindset is he's probably not going to be able to get out of here in time, so he might as well be able to hold his own if that's even possible.
Cool. Okay, so it's plus charisma, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Marquis has an amazing charisma. Let's see. Oh, nope, it was a dump stat in Dungeon World too. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Some things never change.
We've only got 1+1 on charisma the whole crew.
Okay. Wait. How did I end up with 4, 6, 1, 3, 4, 4? Oh, 4. I get a 4. Yes.
Okay, so 4 was your total?
Yeah, that is my total.
Okay. Yeah, so he
she's not a smooth talker.
Yeah. So he's gonna that sounds lovely. We'll do it sometime. Just you know where to find me. I'm usually here. All right, let's cut away from this scene. If there's more you guys want to do, we can come back to it in a minute, okay? All right, let's take a look at our other party members. Get on Avon. Where are you going looking for this kind of bureaucrat, this somebody in the know with the government?
Never mind. I had to. No.
What was your thought?
I was. I'm just wondering, like. I'm wondering where somebody goes to find that. I was wondering if there'd be like social gatherings among the more well-connected. Something we could crash or sneak into, get whatever the opposite of the word on the street is, the word from the castle.
Okay.
So, like, the merchants probably all sit down somewhere in the evenings and discuss things, and despite the fact they all want each other's money, they're all trying to make more money for everyone at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of like a good old boys club. Like the people in the know are in the know, and everybody else is coming begging for whatever scrap contracts they can get. So let's actually, how about we frame this at like a lender's, like kind of a bank of sorts. So there's some tables set up with people actually doing money exchanges and notarizing contracts and stuff. But there's also quite a few the merchants, especially kind of mid to low level merchants, who are just sitting around chatting, rolling dice, kind of like a tavern feel. But they're just hanging out there. What's your guys' approach?
I'd like to take a look at the room, try and figure out who's the best person to go and talk to in a room like this, or which table we should try and sit down at.
Let's get a discern realities for that.
Sure. Well, that's a great time to roll Snake Eyes. We're off to an amazing start.
Okay. Let's see. I'll let you ask one question, but I'm gonna kind of hold on to that fail for a later moment.
Sure. Who here is useful or valuable to me?
Cool. You see a guy. He looks pretty giddy. He just got a paper notarized. The thing that makes him distinctive and makes you think maybe he could be approached is he has some patches. Nice clothes, but one or two patches on his clothing.
Okay.
Are you like pointing this out to Ged, like pointing this guy out as a possible person to talk to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I recognize him from somewhere. Not sure where. But let's see if we can pull up a chair with him when we get a moment.
Yes. And Ged walks up to the guy and just kind of says, "So, how about that Pale Horde?"
Oh. What are you bothering me with the Pale Horde for? You know, the reason I'm in the situation I am is because of the Pale Horde. This contract's all I got left.
Oh,
now,
do tell.
Don't mind. He starts rolling up his papers.
If I don't mind, what?
I've got places to be, people to talk to. Pardon me. And he kind of starts pushing past you. You gonna let him go?
I think he's Ged isn't like moving out of the way, but he's not like actively resisting being moved either. He's just not still catching up to the he's leaving.
Maybe you guys even like I was gonna say bump shoulders, but you're what, 4 feet tall?
Yes, something like that. Very short.
So
my
head
bumps
shoulder.
his hip or whatever.
Avon,
are you gonna let your quarry go?
I just don't want to leave Ged behind. I'm going to try and wave a little bit across the room because he just plowed right in there. But to follow me, and I'm going to follow the businessman.
Cool.
We'll go over to Avon. That worked.
So that went well.
Yeah. Guess he didn't want to talk about the Pale Horde, huh?
Did you just walk up and ask him, "Hi, how about the Pale Horde?"
I wanted to find out about the Pale Horde.
I was just kidding. I didn't think that was actually how you do it. Well, let's see if we can have another chat with him. I see he's leaving now.
So sensitive.
Hey, you tried.
Exactly. Everybody knows it. Why won't they talk about it? Everybody knows they're I don't.
If someone farts in a room, the next topic of conversation is not who farted. You all politely just don't deal with it.
Yeah.
They're all nervous. So what did he say about them?
He said something. His Pale. He was in some sort of situation that he was saying the Pale Horde was the reason he was in this mess, and then he just left.
Maybe we're not the only ones able to turn this for a little bit of profit. Yeah, we should definitely follow him. And I lead Ged off down like the side hallway where he went. and I try and like pluck a shadow off the wall and throw it over top of us as I cast a spell.
Cool.
Okay, that one at least came up double 5, so we're 12.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
It evens out.
Okay, so when you
my
cast...
spell casting is weird.
So tell me how, like, what effect are you hoping to get out of this?
I would like us to be functionally invisible. Maybe people can see us if they look right at us, but no one will notice us the same way that you don't notice a shadow on the wall.
Okay.
It helps solve the problem, but choose 2. It's going to sap my energy.
Well, just choose one because you got a 10 plus, right?
Help solve the problem. It says, but choose 2. Is that backwards? Or let the GM choose one?
No, so on a 7 to 9, it takes effect, but the GM chooses 2.
Right.
But on a 10 plus... Oh,
I pick 2 or let you pick one.
Oh, no.
There.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So either you pick 2 or I pick 1.
Okay, so it's going to be very superficial. So it's only if you're not looking directly at us. You don't notice us at all. And it does drain my energy. I'm -1 for spells until we've had a rest.
Awesome. All right. So with that kind of shadow over you guys, you're able to follow him down the hall. He goes out of the building. He goes into one of the lesser, less nice neighborhood than this lending place is in. Kind of give me one thing that you see that lets you know, like, this is not a happy part of town. There's no money here.
I think there's just a big pile of garbage that nobody has touched in probably years.
It's growing things.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's fungus and stuff.
So he turns into a small shack that's got a little sign hanging over it that's a circle with a hand, and inside the hand is a circle. So the hand is kind of white, and then the wood shows through on this circle inside of the hand. So it looks like maybe a sort of shop or something like that. Are you guys going to go inside?
Do we recognize the symbol?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Spout lore.
It's spout lore.
That is +2 for that. Oh wait. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out the how this.
Are you doing the roll for your party?
I was trying to figure out how the roll for your party works, and I rolled the wrong or confused about the order of. Oh, it's sorting them. Okay. I'm just gonna use.
I just cleared them, so you can just hit 2.
Okay.
And then
2,
roll.
6. Okay, that's a 5.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't recognize the symbol there. If you had to guess, maybe palm reader comes to mind, but that's all you got.
Oh, Under Eye's going in there. Are we following him?
Do you know... Yeah, you don't recognize that either, hey?
Not even a little.
Well, are you gonna just walk right up and knock on the door again? Ask him about the Pale Horde again?
No. Okay. Okay, I get it. Not great. I planned.
Okay.
Some people are sensitive about that sort of thing.
Pat you
Get it?
not on the head because that's condescending. I pat you on the shoulder. I go up to the door and I knock on the door.
It's open. It's just
okay.
door. Yeah.
Okay, then I will walk in. If it's not even like a home with a closed door, then yeah, walking right in.
Cool.
I'll follow.
So you see a small room. There's another doorway off to the right-hand side that's got a curtain in front of it. And there's a man sitting on a small stool there with a little table. It's got kind of like trinkets and baubles, mostly like made out of clay and honestly worthless junk, basically. And he says, "Oh, thank you for coming into my shop. Someone with money like you surely can find something he loves."
I'm hardly rich, but what do you have for sale here?
And he will, I'm not going to roleplay this. He's going to just
okay.
do a tirade describing each and every bauble. This one's got a turtle on it. This one you can hang in the window and it brings this kind of luck, and on and on and on and on and on. Nonsense.
Oh, well, you know what? I could swear I bumped into you earlier today. Or maybe I just saw you in passing at the lender's hall. You seem very happy there, too. Things are looking up for you, sir.
So maybe I might have not made this clear. This is a different person than you followed.
Okay.
We can retcon that, or if you kind of want to play that angle, we can do that too.
Do you go with that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, if that's not him here, presumably he went through the curtain off to the side, right?
Yeah.
And sorry, maybe I did not make it clear. He did not seem happy about the situation he was in due to the Pale Horde.
Well, so he was happy. When you first noticed him, he was pretty giddy about the contract. But yeah, when you talked about the Pale Horde,
yeah,
cool.
Some mixed signals. Got us quite confused.
So yeah, at the mention, Avon's mention of the lending hall, he's like, "No, not me. I don't go to the lending hall. I don't know people who do go to the lending hall."
Of course. What sort of business would you have there, right?
Yeah, I don't need any money. I've got everything I need right here. And he probably even like picks up one of these statues and kind of cuddles with it.
I wave get in.
Take little gnome steps in. Hello. This is a lot of stuff.
Ooh. And he's kind of observing the gear that you have on, because you're carrying all your fancy stuff all the time, right?
Yeah, I'm wearing the steam explosion glove.
Yeah.
And the ectoplasmic reversal suit, and I have the pyromatic beam cannon on my back.
Yeah, he's going to reach out and like kind of hold your hand and
no.
Look. Oh, sorry. What does it do?
You want to see?
Yes, of course. It's not dangerous, is it?
It's pretty dangerous.
Just do it outside then. I do want to see.
Okay. And
you really have to see this. You have to go stand out on the porch. You don't want to see it from in here.
You know, I saw a great pile of garbage that I think would be the perfect test.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Come on.
He'll follow you out. Avon, Are you going to, or is this a distraction?
Oh yeah, I tossed the place.
Okay. Let's cut.
Sorry, I gently shuffle through the papers.
We're gonna cut scene and go to the other crew. Let's see what they're up to. Okay, so Dagram and Marquis, you got pretty much all the information you could out of Tulsa. What do you guys? Are you guys still hanging around at the bar, or what are you doing next?
Well, we keep doing this, or should we cut to be a scene where we meet up with people? I didn't have anything
Tell
else.
me what you guys want to do.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else at the bar. I think.
I mean, if you leave me at the bar, I'm going to start a fight with somebody.
Yeah, maybe I should clarify. How much do you guys drink? Are we going to need a constitution roll here to?
Yeah, I am absolutely hammered. Like not, or at least I've been pounding just ale all night.
What? I'll let you pick a condition. Which? How does it affect you the most? Are you just like flat out stupid, or do you have hard time walking when you're drunk?
I think that her mouth just totally free now. So whatever the first thought that comes to her head, like it just comes straight out of her mouth. There's zero filter at this point.
Cool. So let's we'll give you a wisdom condition until you get some rest and sober up.
Digger has some interest, whether it's that night or the next morning, going and checking out the docks where there's some black market human trafficking going on of people getting out of the city. May have a plan.
Cool. Yeah, you guys want to investigate that?
Yeah, I think that if it's the next day, then I think Marquis would be along, and she would be like really hungover. So just phoning it in, like, I mean, she's not even like complaining so much, because like complaining like is just too painful, like hurts too much, like just almost comatose.
Okay.
Dagram wakes her up with a horn has a horn of ale for her when he wakes her up. Just says, "It'll help your head."
Yeah, she's like, just the smell of the ale causes her to dry heave, and then she kind of fights that down, and then she takes the horn and
he kind of grins, says, "You should have been born a dwarf."
She looks down at Daygrim, just kind of shakes her head. She doesn't even have like the energy for like a pithy retort.
Says, "Listen, I want to go out to the docks where they're taking people out of the city."
All right. As long as you don't ask me to make any decisions or say anything whatsoever, and if you do, I swear to God, I will slit your throat.
Says, "That actually may be for the best."
Yeah, so she like buckles on her sword and her fighting dagger. Yeah.
Now, are you guys asking around about this? Or are you guys just going to try and get eyes on it yourself? What is the?
I'm assuming this activity is taking place at the docks. I don't know too much yet, so I think I'm just going around to observe and see what I might see, and if there's anyone that seems like they may be worth talking to, I may approach it. I think that's phase one of this, just doing a little reconnaissance.
Cool. Let's get a discern realities then. You walking around the dock area and just kind of keeping an eye out for things.
Okay, so if I roll with the hyperlink you guys linked, does that lets you see it? The idea here?
Yeah, I have access to that as well. And if you want, you can even click on the dice and then just hit reroll, or reroll selected.
Should I clear it first?
Oh, you don't want a D20.
I don't think I did D20.
No, that was me. Just wanted to throw one over in the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to clear, and then I'm gonna roll 2 dice. Rolling. All right, so 6, and then it's a wisdom. I do not believe I have a wisdom modifier.
Yeah, it's 0. Okay. Well, Marquis, you're there. Is there a way that you could help Degrim in the search?
Tell me exactly what it is you're looking for, Digrim.
Says, I want to know who's taking people out of the city and how much they're making. There could be coin to be had, and perhaps we can thin out the guards' ranks if that's of interest to us.
So you're looking for, you're trying to find like boat captains who are like.
I'm trying to figure out who's doing it currently. Who are the other people doing this smuggling? If there's an active black market that's formed smuggling people out of the city.
And what specifically are you doing to find that out? Are you asking questions? Are you snooping around?
Snooping around, like walking around and you know, hoping to hear people that. I mean, I imagine at the docks there may be some people gathered trying to get out of the city.
Yeah.
And you know, watching those interactions.
Yeah. Would you need like a distraction to do something, maybe? Like to slip onto a boat and check things out?
Yeah.
Okay. So Marquis is like walking, they're kind of walking along the docks, and she's just like, her face is just kind of ashen colored. And she just like walks up and she stops in front of the whoever's standing guard, you know, near the gang ramp or the gangway to one of these boats. And she just is like, "Ugh!" And she just like pukes all over his knees. And she's like, oh God, I feel much better now. How about you?
Okay, to me that sounds like an aid with charisma. You have an argument for anything else?
No.
Okay.
Should we be clearing the dice every time we roll?
Either that or you can click on each of them and re-roll selected. Doesn't matter to me.
Nope. Missed.
Woo! Let's say this. Let's be grateful you guys all aren't in a combat situation, because somebody would be dead by now. I think we're on 4th or 5th failed
There's
roll.
a lot of misses. Do we get XP every time we get a miss?
Yeah. Please remember to mark your XP each time.
That's what I'm talking about.
So. I think everybody has one. Is that right?
That was my second one.
That was your second. So maybe Brian hasn't rolled one.
No, I just rolled the fail there.
Oh yeah, so then we definitely are on our 5th. Cool. This guy happens to be a member of the city guard that you barfed on or in front of, and he's gonna call up some friends, and they're gonna start surrounding you, and one of them pulls out kind of some shackles.
Yeah, I think that she'll as he kind of comes at her, she's just going to sort of dodge and maybe try and see if she can't sort of push one into the water.
Okay. What's Deirdre doing while he sees this happen?
Deirdre tries to insert himself in the situation, and he says, "Gentlemen, I'm Phoenix cohort, and this one's with me." And he tries to kind of grab her as if she was, you know, not his companion, but maybe a prisoner or something, and try to pull her away.
Okay. It sounds like we probably only need a roll for Marquis. Let's get a defy danger with dexterity from you. And this is going to kind of see if you dodge into Deergrim's arms or actually get what you want and knock him off the...
Okay, cool. Let me just check. Okay. Alrighty.
Pulls a 6,
Yeah,
isn't it? Okay. So the first one that you barfed at his feet, he's like, I don't
On
care.
his feet. He has barf on him.
Oh, it's on his shoes. Oh, lovely.
Yes.
He points. He points over at you, dear Grim, and he says, "I don't care who you're with. Public drunkenness is a crime." And your dodge failed pretty miserably. You may kind of be rough with them, is the impression I get, right, Marquis? Do they have to like wrestle you to the ground, or once they catch you, do you just
Well,
get locked?
as soon as they catch her and like they've got maybe like shackles like on at least like one of her hands, she's gonna stab one of them, like to kill him.
Okay. I'm gonna cut in there just because we had 3 failed rolls in a row. I think they get a good enough grip on you. You're not even gonna be able to get the knife.
Okay. Maybe
yeah.
she goes for it. Like she's going for it and they grab it, but like it's clear like, what her intention is, that she's trying to grab a knife maybe.
Yeah, I like that. I think that adds some richness to the scene. You can, and he's writing kind of like a ticket. He tears it off, hands it to you, dear Grim. You can pick up your friend here down at Pen 1. She should be sobered up a day or two.
I glance down at it. What is the? Is there a fee involved in this?
What do you think? Do you think it's more interesting if there's a fee to get her out? Or
Well, I guess I'll just say, gentlemen, I really need to get this one back to the cohort quickly. Can we just pay the fee here?
Listen, I told you, I don't care what cohort, what circus you're with. She's going to the pen. I don't care.
So he calls the Phoenix cohort a circus.
He sure did.
Oh, damn.
The situation is Marquis is being dragged away by 3 men. The 4th man with vomit on his shoes is kind of squared off against Degrim. Are we getting violent here, or are you going to accept this and pick up your friend later?
Who's the guy who called the cohort a circus?
The one you barfed on.
Vomit shoes? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to let them take her away. I'm going to put a firm hand on her as well and says, no, I'm afraid she's coming with me, gentlemen.
Okay. Sword gets drawn. One of them, so she's got one on either arm, hands behind her back, in shackles. One steps away, puts his hand on the blade, and then the vomit shoes actually draws his sword and points it at you, dear Grim, and says, "Looks like you want to come to the pen too, huh?"
So where are each of them standing? There's one in front of me, and then where are the other 2?
Yeah, so if you're standing right next to her, there's 3 of them like right there with you, but 2 of them still have their hands on her, and one he hasn't drawn his blade, but the one right next to you has his hand on his blade. The one who drew is I don't know, 5 paces from you, not very far. And I think actually that's a good place for us to cut because it's kind of a tense moment. Let's do a quick 3-minute break just to get some water, and then we'll come back to get an Avon.
Cool.
Welcome back.
Hey there. Just wanted to say this has been really fun so far.
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. This is a different kind of game than I've run so far. All of mine have been very kind of high stakes, running around, slashing from the get-go. So I'm really enjoying seeing how this kind of shapes itself. I guess we can get started with you two while the other guys log in. So last I remember, Ged, you had just walked this enthusiastic vendor out to blow up some trash with your...
Yeah, I was going to blow up the garbage pile.
And Avon, you were snooping around. Were you going into the back? What was the snooping?
Yeah. I'm going to look for any of the, like a paper or a scroll out here at that contract that he mentioned. But if it's not obvious out here, then I'll pull the screen aside and take a peek into the side room.
Okay. Yeah, so in the front room, it's just this stool and the table with the trinkets. If you want to spend some time, you can examine the table closely and see if there's like hidden compartments or anything. Or if you'd rather hurry, you can go to the back.
Let's take a look closely here.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and do a discern realities, and let's see what we find.
Sure. I'm going to jump into the roll for your party, too. 2 of those. I've got a color. Great. Okay, 4 and 6 is 10 plus a stat, so we are good.
Yeah, go ahead and give us those questions.
Well, definitely what here is useful or valuable to me, and what here is not what it appears.
Okay.
Not appears to be.
All right. So as you search the table, you will notice there's a few trinkets that he sets. There's like a kind of a small shelf underneath. There's a few trinkets down there, and as you examine each of those, you'll notice separate or different from the others that they each have that hand with the circle in it on them, as well as their their shape. And when you kind of handle one of these, you can tell it's hollow. I think it's more. You're smart enough. So you can break one of these, and there's slips of paper inside. All the that are set underneath. I think that answers both the questions. Do you think that satisfied both of them? Yeah.
I'll take a closer look at the papers when we have a chance. I'm going to peek out the window before I start rifling through them. If I broke it open carefully, could I stand it back up on the shelf as if it wasn't?
I think damaged? I think that makes things more interesting. So let's say you just broke like a tiny bit in the bottom. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
have a third question.
That's tricky. What is about to happen?
Okay, let's cut over to Ged, and I think that'll answer it. All right, so Ged, why don't you just describe to us how glorious this is? You're still on mute.
Thank you. He makes sure merchant guy isn't too close, and sort of like gets the amount of space he's giving for the blast radius is absolutely not enough. But yeah, he sort of just points his glove at the pile. Big burst of superheated steam, and it just there is suddenly just garbage falling everywhere. I think a rotten banana peel hits Ged in the face, and he wipes it off with a laugh. I don't know how bad the merchant gets covered in trash, but it's everywhere.
You know, this may not be how I first envisioned field test happening, but why don't you give us a field test roll?
Sure.
What's field test?
That's my move when you use one of your gadgets to get out of a tight spot. That's 9.
Cool. So go ahead and choose 2.
2. Okay. I think the gadget's effects won't last long. Doesn't really make sense here. So I think the gadget drains my reserves.
Okay.
I lose 1 charge and draws unwanted attention.
Cool. All right, let's cut back over to Avon. You're going to get a glimpse of said unwanted attention. Out of the window, you see some trash flying. It probably just like you instinctively twitch and look up, and you see some a hooded head. I was gonna say a person, but you just see the head peeking out of the window from across the way and watching very closely what's going on with this trash blasting.
Can I try and cast another spell that makes it look like a bunch of large rats are being targeted by the spell and not just someone saying, "Hold my ale, I've got this magic glove"?
Yeah, let me
Science.
take a look. I'm still trying to remember your spell focus here. Let me. Yeah, that's a mislead for sure. You know, I don't even think that's going to take a roll. I don't see anything too interesting happening from it failing. So, yeah, you can cast a spell, and it looks like there's rats being blasted to pieces.
I'll sit back down, like I'll sit on the stool where he was inside, and just try and not look like the cat that ate the canary as they're doing whatever they're up to in the streets.
Yeah. I think after one demonstration, like he's obviously extremely excited about this and fawning over you, Ged. But he says, I do have to get back to my shop. I thought your friend was coming out with us. And he just kind of like comes back into the shop.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Kid, that was a work of art.
Thank you. It was, saw that pile. It was annoying me. Big pile of trash. Now there's no more pile.
As it is to have visitors, are you planning on buying anything? I have work to do, if not.
You know what? I'll pull out a coin, and I had a chance to take a look while you were out there. I'll take one of these, and just one of the most boring ones on the countertop.
Sure. Add boring trinket to your inventory and lose a coin. That sounds great.
Cover story. Yep. Boring trinket.
Yep. And then looking at Ged, he's like, you know what? Here, you take this one. And
hey, thanks.
It's kind of like got like a billowing wind, looking symbol on it.
Okay. I have a let me see that move when I take a few moments to handle or examine something interesting. I ask 2 questions. I don't know if this qualifies as interesting.
All right, let's do it.
Who made this?
Interestingly enough, not the man that is giving it to you, although he seems to act like he's the creator of all these trinkets.
Okay.
I want to ask you real quick, what is it on there that kind of hints that he's not the creator?
I think it just seemed. I think it just seems to. The work seems too fine. Like, seems too detailed for this random dude to have made this. Like, I guess it'd be possible, but yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't seem like common. It doesn't seem so much like a common craftsmanship sort of thing.
Okay.
And what does this do, if anything?
It holds maybe a paper or two down in a light wind.
Nice. Oh, this is nice. Where'd you get it?
Oh, I made it myself. I make them all of them, everyone.
Cool.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
nice.
Come back. Bring your friends. I'd love to show them my trinkets too.
Yeah. Bye.
Cool.
And Ged leaves.
Avon, are you following suit? Oh, you're muted. Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow Ged's lead on this one.
Cool. So let's fast forward the two of you to the next morning. You saw your friends leave. There was mumbling about the docks. And we'll see what they are up to now that you guys are kind of caught up in time. So last we saw, Marquis was drunk, had vomited on a man's shoes, has her hands in shackles behind her back, one man on either arm. There's another guard next to her, ready to draw. Another guard a few paces away from the two of you with a sword drawn, threatening to take you in as well, Dergrim.
And he called the cohort a circus.
And he called the cohort a circus.
Dergrim does his best to bite his tongue at the insult and says, gentlemen, no need to draw swords here, but I do need to keep an eye on her. She's my property. And says, I'll follow you to the cell to make sure she makes it there.
So are you trying to convince them that she's your slave, or is this just...
No, that she's my prisoner. But yeah, I guess maybe property is a strange choice of word, but my mark.
Okay. That's why I asked just to clarify, that's all.
Is there slavery in this city? Do we know that, by the way?
Yes, there is.
Well, maybe we'll just roll with the property thing. I'll say she's now a slave of the cohort, and I would be accompanying her, and sort of thinking that don't want to make a scene in the middle of the crowded dock area here.
Cool. I'm going to let you do your battle of wits here. I think this is an appropriate situation. So everybody else just, this is, you always know in which goblet resides the poison. When an enemy is watching you and there's a difficult choice to make, the GM will tell you what the enemy expects you to do. So he's expecting on the way that you're going to kind of signal some friends and try and make a jailbreak before you guys even get to the penitentiary. So he's going to, with that kind of out of character, or I guess that is in character, but that knowledge on the table, he'll put his sword back away and he'll say, any funny business? And I'm not even going to stop at putting you in the penitentiary. I'm going to put you in your grave.
Says, Digram not just kind of gestures like lead the way.
Cool. Are you guys going to try anything before you get to the pen?
Yeah, so as we start walking, Marquis just starts to insult Vomit Shoes. She's just like, There's a lot of puke you got in your feet there. Those boots are going to be awful hard to clean. Yep, I think you're going to have trouble getting that sausage out of there. To be honest, though, kind of goes with the complexion of your face. I mean, actually, if I was you, anything that drew attention away from that nose of yours, I would have to say is an improvement. I mean, what happened to that thing? Looks like you got in a headbutting match with like a wagon and you lost. And she's just gonna keep going. She's gonna keep going and keep going on this guy.
Are you trying to pull a specific move?
Well, I don't have.
Or are you just getting under his skin?
It would be parlay, but I'd have to have something that he wanted, right?
I think he wants you to shut up.
You have leverage on a GM character, can manipulate them. Leverage something they need or want.
Let's do a little bit of role play and see if we can get
See what comes up.
Yeah, because I think you're close, but not quite there. Jax, why don't you shut her up? And one of them's going to kind of like elbow you on your ribs. Go ahead and just take 1 damage from it.
Yeah.
And I assume you're going to keep going even after that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think she just like, it just kind of makes her smile. She grits her teeth and just smiles. And then she's like, yep, like, it doesn't surprise me getting someone else to hit people for you. Is that how you always work? I mean, is that how you got that nose broken? I mean, what happened to that thing anyway? The thing looks like a piece of cauliflower, no, piece of overcooked cauliflower.
Okay, so I'm impressed with this continuous from you. Like, beautiful, Tor. Yeah, he comes around in front of you, like everybody kind of stops, and he says, "Any more out of you? I've already got enough of your mouth on my shoes. Maybe I'll let you clean it up with your tongue." And he's going to turn around. Does that shut you up or no?
Yeah, I think she'll just spit in the back of his head.
Okay.
And she'll say, take these cuffs off. Why don't you make me? Right, so she's like clearly like, very much like calling him out in front of all of his men, right? Like,
yeah.
And
let's get your challenge roll.
Okay, is that a roll actually? Let's see. So this is a swashbuckler move, or a duelist move, as I like to call it. When you challenge someone to a one-on-one duel, if they accept, so basically you decide if he accepts or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's I don't even roll until you decide because if you refuse, it just goes to someone else. So you decide what he does, I guess. There's no real.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we'll do the roll after he will accept or not.
I mean, we could call it a parlay, and the leverage would be sort of his standing in front of his men, right? Like, basically insulting his honor.
Yeah. And
that would be my leverage. That could be one way to roll with it.
I think I'm liking. Let's do some table talk here. I'm liking the idea of this actually turning into a duel one-on-one versus him. What do you guys what do the rest of you think? Do you think this is more like he refuses a duel, or do you think this is enough to get leverage and we roll to see if she can get out of the bonds that way?
I'd like to see the duel.
I would as well, and I think Dergrim will aid by kind of looking at the other men that are the other two guards and kind of saying, like, wouldn't you like to see your commander draw his own sword for a change?
All right, so this is he's going to accept. So go ahead and roll.
I like how Daragrim has gone from being sort of like the peacemaker to being like, no, let's go ahead and fight, guys. Fight it out.
Let her get it out of the system now.
Daragrim, he puts a finger to the wind and he reacts, I think.
I was trying to get us out of the crowded dock area. Was my thought there. I didn't want to. If someone went down, I didn't want it there.
Okay.
Are you the purple?
Nah, I don't think so. I think I'm the 3 and the 4.
Okay. Yeah,
Can't even see the purple.
You're fine. I was off the screen. I just wanted to check.
I'm actually not sure though.
Well,
last roll total 7. Yeah, so I was a 3 and the 4, and that's what I got. I don't know any modifier on my charisma.
Okay.
So on 7 and 9, choose 1. You take +1 armor forward against them. You take +1 d4 damage forward against them. You take +1 forward against them. I'll take +1 d4 damage forward against them.
Okay. So he turns back around. He wipes the spit, and he's like, "That's it." And he's gonna kind of like smear it over your face, and they shove you to the ground. He's like, "Take her out of her shackles," and he steps maybe like 2 paces back, throws your sword and your dagger at his feet, and draws his sword. He says, "All right, big mouth, come and get him."
Okay. So she stands up, kind of rubbing her wrists, and she like is kind of rubbing her wrists, and then she just kind of starts to dry heave, like she's still kind of throwing up, and she's like, "What? Okay, I'm good." And but she's keeping an eye on him. I think she wants to kind of like read the situation somehow. Resourceful when you size up your opponent or assess your surroundings, possibly.
Yeah, that sounds great. So you're kind of stalling with that vomiting, and while
she actually was dry heaving.
Oh, this was real.
Yeah.
Still, it gives you the time to assess the situation.
It does. Yeah, actually, it might be discern realities. I'm not sure, because resourceful is really when you're in the middle of a combat and you roll a dex. So I'm not sure. Maybe it'd be more discern realities more. What do you think?
I like resourceful for this because it gives you the option to try and get your weapon or something.
Cool. Alrighty, where is the...
And Daygrim, I might point out, if you interfere in this, she's going to start taking a -1 ongoing until the duel's over. So just keep that in mind. You're welcome to step in, but be very careful how you do.
Okay, so I get an 8.
I'm going to say Daygrim's going to make sure it's a fair fight. He's not going to let the other 2 step in.
Okay.
So I got an 8 total. I rolled a 6, and I got +2. So 8 total, hold 2. And then I can spend them to choose to move to a nearby location or maneuver the enemy, find a weapon with a hand and near tags, distract or impede your foe.
Do you want to use any of those hold right away, or do you want to just hold on to them as the fiction goes and use them?
Yeah, I think I'll go ahead and let's see, take something from the target or cause it to drop something. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
So she's like kind of dry heaving, and then like incredibly quickly, she like kicks her sword up from the ground, and then with one motion, she's like dink, and she just disarms him.
Love it. Yeah, so his sword flies through the air, and he looks to his friend, and he's like, "Throw me a weapon! Throw me a weapon!" So you've got a half a moment while he's unarmed. What do you do?
I'm going to spend. I'm going to spend my second hold, and I'm going to distract him. And I guess you or an ally takes +1 forward against them. That gives me +1, right? So yeah. I'm just going to say, no. Look at me. Say circus again. And he'll just the tone of my voice will be enough for him to kind of look back at me and just pause for a moment. And then I'm just going to run my sword through his throat, I guess.
Woo! All right, so I think this is still a hack and slash, but you're going to get that +1 forward for the advantage.
When you attack, also have deft technique. When you attack using a one-handed blade or quarterstaff, roll plus dex.
Oh yeah. Sorry, deft technique.
Okay,
you got your own.
Alrighty. And then, do I get something from the challenge?
I think you chose plus D4 damage.
Damage. Okay. Yep. Gotcha. Okay. So 2d6. So it's a 4, but I think I have +3 though, because I have +1 forward and then +2 dex.
Yep. Nice. So it's still 7. So you choose one from the list.
Okay. You strike true. Yeah, you strike true.
Cool. Before I describe how he reacts, let's see how much damage you do.
So I never roll damage in Dungeon World. I just roll my base damage, so it's a D8, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you'll
add a D4 to it.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay.
I feel like this does not end well for that guy.
And I think your broadsword gets +1 damage, so whatever you roll, add 1 to.
Okay, so 10. I don't think it. Let me check.
That's enough. That's enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, his last words as. So are you stabbing him through the chest?
No, through the throat.
Through the throat. Okay, yep. So he kind of like gurgling, but he says circus, and slides off your blade. The other guys are stunned. And I think of the 3, one of them's just going to sprint. The other 2 draw their swords, but are like slowly backing away. What are you guys doing?
So it looks like they've got their swords drawn, but they're backing away like they're going to run.
Yeah, like I said earlier, even the town guard are not well trained. This may be the first time they've ever seen somebody die by a blade.
You can go ahead if you want, but I think what Marquis is just gonna wipe her sword off. I think she's essentially ignoring those guys. Plus, she also feels really sick.
Yeah,
she might throw up again.
Jergum will watch them as they go and remember their faces.
Cool. Yeah, so they'll back away until they feel safe, and then they'll also turn and run. Let's see. Yeah, let's wrap up a little early today so that we can run through keys and make sure we learn that process. Awesome session, guys. That was really fun. So what we'll do is we'll go character by character. We'll start with Ged and just kind of read in your head your keys, and if you think you've got any of them, call it out and say if somebody was instrumental in helping you turn it. So, Ged, why don't you take a look and let us know?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I hit any of my keys. Didn't do that much tinkering or disrupting traditions. Yeah.
Well, I think you could make the argument that you got yourself in some trouble tinkering with that trash heap. Somebody noticed you.
True.
You just don't know who noticed you.
Right, yeah, that is, yeah,
So-
sure, I'll take that.
Yeah, I would say that one for sure.
Okay.
Didn't you come up with a plan too?
Yeah, sort of a plan. I don't know if I would call it like offering advice to someone that was followed or coming up with a plan that helps us out of a bad situation specifically.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't feel like you quite hit it, then
I don't think that it was. I don't think it was quite there.
Okay. If we end up in a similar situation where we're kind of in a jam, remind me to help you take it upon yourself to MacGyver our situation out of there.
All right, sounds good.
cool. So, Ged, yeah, go ahead and take your one for turning the curious.
Done.
And I think that was kind of an independent thing, right? It wasn't Avon helping out that got that one.
Nope, if anything, I help minimize it.
yeah, she did. Cool. Diagram, what about your keys?
I felt like that was a great opportunity to hit him, and I was trying to hit him, but I don't know if I really did. I feel like Marquis kind of handled that, but I mean, I suppose I led us away out of the dock, and but
Yeah, you did lead us out of the dock where there was like a ton of other guards, right? I mean, it's a very crowded situation. And Marquis was like ready to fight like everybody right there. And you were like, nah, let's maybe take a walk, right?
So are you looking at Key of Cunning?
yeah. Well, I guess it could be either.
Ringleader or cunning.
I'm realizing I didn't realize it before, but those are very similar keys.
Yeah, definitely some overlap there.
Yeah, I may like switch out one of those because they're so similar, but
Yeah, that's fine.
we could just say it was one of those.
And do you think Marquis was pretty instrumental in helping you turn it?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right. So Marquis, remember to mark yours for that. Avon.
I don't think I was a meddler, or I didn't get a chance to seed anyone with false information. But Provocateur, I kind of led off the day. I think I set Marquis off on a real bad day there.
You really did.
Yeah.
And I could not have turned that key without you biting and doubling down on it.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that's true. That was kind of like the start of like the sort of disaster, wasn't it? She got pissed off, and then she just spent the next 24 hours looking for somebody to take it out on.
Mm-hmm. I can't help but feel a little bit guilty for your day. Also,
that's
that
on
guard,
you. The guard is on you.
Like, do you know in Anchorman where they have the scene where it just turns into a big gang fight? It's like, wow, that escalated quickly. It's like, yeah,
exactly.
I stabbed a guy in the heart.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's Rube Goldberg machine of a day. But that's it for me, just the one.
Okay. And how about you, Marquis?
I feel like Key of the Vengeful applies. You gain 1 XP when you go out of your way to exact vengeance for a minor slight. I mean, first off, insulting the cohort is not a minor slight, so I'm not sure if this applies here.
I think it depends.
But he also rubbed spit on me, which isn't that big a deal. And I don't know, Key of the Prideful, gain 1 XP when you demand the respect your fighting prowess deserves. or when you teach someone who disrespected you or your fighting abilities a lesson they will not soon forget.
Okay.
Well,
so I don't like turning keys for the same multiple keys for the same action. Were those two distinct things? Like maybe at the dock was the vengeful one.
I mean, if I was going to game it,
I think
my D&D background would push me to game it. It would be like, well, I taught the guy, I demanded respect with the arm wrestling guy by kicking his ass in arm wrestling, and then I got vengeance for the minor slight by killing the guard.
Yeah, if you think that turns them, go for it. I like that. And then for the vengeful one, do you want to give one to Deergrim? Was he kind of instrumental in that, or was it kind of a solo affair?
Okay, so game next when you. Yeah, well, he definitely held the guards off, right?
Cool.
He was my second in the fight.
Yeah, well, and proper dueling, you need a second, so.
You do.
Cool. So it looks like everybody got one key at least turned, and almost everybody helped somebody else. So, how did we, before we do the rest of the XP, how did you guys feel about the keys? Was it hard to hit? Did you have enough time?
I would say I had a little bit of trouble hitting my keys, but I think that's more situational than anything. There was a lot of talking to people, which is not really Ged's thing.
Yeah. Well, maybe something I like to do is I'll have like one key that is applicable definitely in combat, one key that's kind of a social one, and one key that maybe straddles the line. So if you want to switch yours around because you felt like it was harder to hit them in social situations, feel free.
I may rework them, but I'll say.
Cool.
Okay.
Everybody else okay with them? Understood them, liked them?
I found them easier to wrap my mind around than something specific like bonds. I've never played with flags before, but bonds seem like big and far-reaching, and you need it to be with that certain person. So if you're not lined up with him, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you had one with Marquis, you probably wouldn't have even been able to because you guys were two different places the whole session. So,
what are keys from? Are they from Lady Blackbird?
Lady Blackbird. I'm trying to remember what the universe is called. It's a John Harper, though. I first saw him playing Lord Skurlock, and I haven't been able to get back.
Cool.
Yeah, the Blue Yonder.
Yeah, there you go. Wild Blue
What
Yonder.
he calls the trilogy.
Yep.
And I think he borrowed them from something else, like
the Shadow of Yesterday. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
They have a lifespan.
So adventure or other. Did we defeat a notable enemy?
I don't think so.
No, you don't think the Sergeant of the Guard is notable enough?
I killed that trash golem.
We did see rats fly. Okay, then did we loot something valuable?
Ooh, presumably I did.
Yeah, you brought home that piece of paper.
Yep. So that counts for all of us?
Yeah, this is the adventure one, so it's the whole party.
Cool. Nice work.
And then the third question is, did we learn something new and interesting about the world?
I think so.
Yeah, we learned a ton, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we learned about the Pale Moon Horde, their orcs, their badasses. We got some kind of double crossing going on here.
Yeah, I think especially on a first session like this, it's hard not to learn something new. All right.
Did Marquis just level up then?
I did.
Nice.
Oh, you already leveled? Nice. Well, go ahead. I'm not going to make you make camp or whatever to rest or to take that level. Go ahead and level up between sessions.
Cool. So
And
next week is actually the one session I'm going to miss, unfortunately.
okay, that's fine.
It's fine. We'll catch up with you by the week after.
Yeah, maybe we'll just have you sit in the room and throw up until you're
Right.
done.
Exactly. Or the guards could actually come and they could maybe I'd be keeping a low profile, right? Because now the guards are out looking for me.
Yeah, exactly. And you were loud enough about it; they know you.
So
Do we have 5 minutes to do kind of like a roses and thorns and review things you liked, didn't like, wanted to see different?
Mhm.
Cool. I'm going to stop the broadcast then.